Good afternoon. I'm going to do kind of a different video today. Hope everybody's well. Um, I'm going to do one on a little bit on MMTLP. Then I'm going to do one on Mullen, which was basically on YouTubers. So um, I hope you get something out of this and comment, like, subscribe, etc. So first, as to MMTLP, I did file an appeal in the Ninth Circuit. It's against both Finra and the DTCC. It's with regard to my federal case. It's funny. It's funny when you say it like that. My federal case against Finra and DTCC, and it's in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which should be a fairly friendly tribunal. We shall see, of course. And it's going to be attacking the issue of immunity, especially in a criminal proceeding, a non-monetary proceeding, and especially with a lack of supervision. So in essence, it's going to be trying to get immunity thrown out, modified, challenged, something along those lines. FINRA is already aware of it, so they know, and there, of course, is risk. It's usually a three-judge panel that will be making a decision. They look at the papers that were filed in the lower court and the law, and then they'll make a decision. And we will file briefs, and there may be oral arguments, so obviously I'll keep you apprised. But that's ongoing, and FINRA is aware of that, and they definitely have a risk. They may consider the chances of them losing on appeal less likely than not, but there is a risk, and they have to factor that in. And again, I think I'm in a relatively friendly jurisdiction, and I hope they consider it, and I think the arguments are appropriate, and the claim is appropriate, and we shall see. At the same time, I went through a series of events to try to get an arbitration filed against Fidelity through FINRA as to MMTLP. Originally filed it. It was confirmed, filed. It was multiple documents, claims. I filed a copy of my third amended complaint, some other stuff. And at some point in time, I was not nice about my feeling about FINRA being fair and honest, and in essence said I wasn't stipulating to that factor. But I never said I wasn't going to go forward with the arbitration. But because I challenged the credibility of FINRA, they goofed around, let's say, with the proceedings, dismissed it temporarily without prejudice, means I could refile it, and sent it to the general counsel's office. Rather than waiting, I refiled, paid the fees, and it's now ongoing. Subsequent to that, after that, I got a communication from the general counsel's office at FINRA. So this is FINRA's in-house legal team. General counsel is the head lawyer for FINRA. And he responded basically with a bunch of nonsense, but said that the new arbitration's properly filed and it's going forward, etc. But what was interesting, he also referred to the order of the court, and I did not submit it when I filed the arbitration. So they had the order of the court. So they are aware of whatever we are doing in-house at the general counsel's office. So it'll go up to the highest level. If it's a general counsel's office, that means Mr. Cook, the CEO, will be aware of everything we do. So he's aware of it. And so Mr. Cook, we're not stopping. Me, I, the community, etc., are going to continue until we get the result we're looking for. So look forward to meeting you in person one day, maybe at a deposition, Mr. Cook. Anyway, so arbitration will be going on. I'll keep you apprised of the arbitration. That's against Fidelity. And we have the appeal against FINRA DTCC. Two separate proceedings. One's in federal court, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. One's in arbitration. And per the general counsel of FINRA, FINRA has no control over the outcome or picking the arbiters. So we will test that. We'll test that out. Okay. So that's the MMTLP stuff to the day. And there is still stuff going on in the background. When the time comes, I'll discuss that too. Separate and apart from that, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, especially a lot of financial videos, and I've watched a lot of them, a lot of different people, and some of them trouble me. And they all start off, just like me. This is just not legal advice. This is the title of my my channel kind of as a joke in part, but also it's KNOT, which means kind of tied up. It's supposed to have like a double meaning. And I know a lot of the financial channels, they also say, this is not financial advice. You do your own due diligence. That's basically what they say. But they also kind of way they present themselves asking you to give them credibility. So in asking you, in essence, to rely upon what they say. So on one hand, they say, do your own due diligence because they're trying to protect their own butt, honestly. And on the other side, they're trying to establish credibility so you watch them and join their Patreons and whatever. And there's various kinds of stock financial channels, some of them very stodgy, some of them day traders. But a lot of the, let's say the runner stocks, and we're in one of those, but a lot of the runner stocks, the low float stocks, and I'm just going to choose one because it's the one I watched recently that's really annoyed me, Mullen. So I'm familiar with the product because I'm a fan of EVs and I'm heavily into Tesla and I follow them very closely and I follow a lot of the Chinese EVs, BYD, Li Auto, and there's a bunch of other ones in China. And I'm familiar with the status of GM and Ford, Stellantis, Polestar, Lucid, etc. So I'm familiar with the market. And I know it's like a ridiculously hard market to break into. And as Elon Musk says, it's not producing a prototype, it's production, mass production, manufacturing. That's really the issue. So Mullen has a checkered history as a stock. The leadership of Mullen, and this is just my opinion from what I've heard, has had a questionable history. I think he's alleged to have been connected to various penny stocks, all that went bankrupt. So there's some concern about his ability to lead a technologically based company. I believe his background was in music, by the way. That's where he came from. So I don't really know the how analogous that is to running a car company, but be that as it may. But anyway, I hear several YouTube channels promoting Mullen. And whether it does great or not, I don't know. So I'm not saying it's not going to do great down the road because I don't know. But the fact is they don't know either. And right now, there appears to be some issue involving a gentleman who's providing some type of product that can be used on associated with Mullen vehicles or in Mullen vehicles and all other products. And he's engaged in a dispute or contractual negotiations with Mullen. And if it works out, then Mullen's going to get zillions of dollars in essence. It'll generate a lot of money and Mullen stock will go up. That's kind of the premise. The problem is we have the leader of the CEO has a checkered history, and the gentleman, I believe, who is promoting this new device or technology, I think also has a very checkered history. I believe that he had a prior conviction, and it might have been securities related. And he's made a bunch of statements, and may have been innocent, but a bunch of statements that also, in terms of timing events that did not occur, and he apparently got a cease and desist letter, according to him. So it sounds kind of something's up. So we have these two, and while the same time the Mullen advocates on these channels are not pointing out that you have two basically unreliable people, and for the people watching those videos who may be taken in by the promotion, I think it's really not fair. Let's say, and be very generous, that the people promoting Mullen, and it applies to all these stocks. If you see like the CEO and the main asset, let's say, of the company, both have either a series of bankruptcies with companies they run or convictions in securities, I don't think those are people that you should be relying on or spending your money on. Again, it may work out, and these people may be perfectly innocent, and it may be all untrue, and everything may be fine. But I hear it, and if I were on the other side, I'd be promoting it differently. The same thing, by the way, about when people are talking about contracts. In a lot of these channels, I hear people talking about contracts and what it means, and nobody's ever seen the contract. So I find that preposterous, and it's probably dangerous, to be honest, because people talking about contracts, not knowing what's in it, promoting like a generality, probably is not doing a service to investors. So I'd urge everybody not to, not to assert an expertise in an area that you don't have. And what I recall was my father-in-law was a physician, now deceased. He would be at a party. He would be there with his wife. Somebody would ask a medical question, and his wife would answer, and he would give a look, and eventually he would answer. So that's kind of that's what I always think of when I hear someone talking outside of their expertise, like they have certainty in an answer. And I think that's dangerous. So I'm not trying to pick on anyone in particular, but I'm trying to alert the crowd really to be a little more critical when you hear information. The information may be true, but be more critical because it'll be safer and more prudent for you. Anyway, that's just a quick shout out to you guys. Have a good day.